How that works, I'm not real sure, but it does. I am so aggravated. Do you see that right there? That's a lot of hay. It's like half a bale. A whole lot easier than that one was. So let's head on down to the farm and let's get busy. Well, you'll be happy to know that the majority of clean out is done. We have the biggest portion of the lambing area where the mamas in waiting, the group that'll be having babies, will go, and then once they deliver, we'll move them into the lambing pens, the bonding pens, whatever you want to call them. Everybody calls them something different, but they'll move into there to spend a day or so with mama just to get bonded together so that babies and mamas can easily identify each other in the crowd. So that's going to be our next thing that we're going to start working on, because honestly the way we do it now worked pretty good in the room that we have available up until this last season. This last season we had a lamb explosion over about a 3 or 4 day period that filled up every bonding pen that we had, and we wound up making tons of, I guess you would just call it makeshift bonding pens in between there, to the point that you couldn't get to anybody to feed anybody without having to climb over panels and everything else to try to get from pen to pen.
This is the actual video of January 30th of this year. As you can see, we were full to capacity. We were using everything we could think of, everything we could find to make individual pens for mamas and their babies. It was a madhouse.
This year, with the addition of the chicken house right over there, the small house that my wife bought, with that addition to that, that'll be allow us to move the chickens out. So with the chickens moved out, that's going to give us another section back there that we can turn into lambing pens. This is going to be our next section to get some major work done. We're going to have to get these lay boxes out of here, all those. Got to get those out. Got to get this extraneous stuff out. Floor it clean, leveled out pretty good. Get some pens put up, hay mangers, and get this ready. As soon as the tractor finishes the fuel system rejam, we'll get started loading out some more of this, getting these lambing pens cleaned out so we can get them reset and ready to go, because we're just a couple weeks from getting ready to start having babies on the ground. Well, about 15 bucket loads later, and that's where we're at. That stall's clean, that stall's clean, that one's clean, this one's got to dry a little bit before we can get some more of this out. Now, the reason the lambing pens, bonding pens, jugs, whatever you want to call it, is so important because sheep, and well, not only sheep, but several animals, identify their young by smell. So the bonding pen just gives more opportunity for the mama and the baby to be together. So if you'll notice, when a lamb is nursing on mama, she comes up alongside right up next to her, up into this little pocket between the udder and the back leg. And if I can find a picture of that, I'll put that up for you. But the reason the lamb does that is there's a twofold purpose. One, easier access to the udder. Also access to the lamb's back end, where while the lamb is nursing, mama will cuddle, nuzzle, and clean, if you will, lick the back end. That's not really so much for cleaning as it is for stimulating the baby to eat. So anyway, as the lamb nuzzles up in at that angle, there are scent glands that are in the ew's pocket, that pocket between the udder and the back leg, that has a scent gland in there. And as the lamb is nudging up into the pocket there for the udder, then that scent is getting onto its face. That way it just creates a stronger bond, because that lamb now definitely has the scent of that ewe. Now, after hauling out 15 loads on the tractor, now I'm going to put the bush hog on, see if I can get a little bush hogging done. We considered spraying, we considered a lot of different things. We've had a big enough gap between the rains that we're not by no means in a drought again. It's getting dry enough again that the grass is just kind of inching by. So instead of spraying and taking a risk of killing an already distressed grass, we're just going to go ahead and bush hog. So I'm going to try to get about an hour done out in the goat pen, and then after that maybe I can finish up tomorrow night. Then we've got several pastures that we've got to start working our way through. I'm backed up here to the feed room. I'm going to get that process started. Hopefully I can get that done before they call and say that supper's ready. So that'll be just one more step ahead before we start feeding tonight. So I'm going to set this down and get started chunking feed. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but usually I use the tractor to unload the feed, get it up here to the door. But tonight I'm needing to kind of push the schedule up a little bit, because I'm hoping that I can also finish up some of the bush hogging that I started last night. One of the main reasons why I'm wanting to try to finish up that bush hogging tonight is we have a chance of rain coming in. It's not just the weeds are an eyesore, but they also prevent the grasses underneath from being able to catch moisture, sunlight, and everything else they need to be able to grow well. So if I can get that bush hog down on this pasture, and hopefully the next one between tonight and tomorrow night, we're expecting some rain 2 or 3 days out of this week. So hopefully that will help bring those grasses on underneath. And I'm going to have to give you my apologies. After going back and watching a few of the past videos, I realized just how hard it is to hear me over this tractor. So anyway, so if I'm screaming now, I apologize for that. Okay. Like I said, we're going to take this over real quick. Okay, maybe not real quick. Let me change gears. Looks better. While I'm here, I am so aggravated. Do you see that right there? That's a lot of hay. About half a bale. We were putting hay out for the second breeding group up top. Usually I can pick the round bale up from the side, kind of scoop it up and drop it over the fence, roll it off into the rack that's over there. I set that bale right there, and you see most of it still right there. Could not get that thing up on the porch for nothing. You want to talk about it. Aggravation. Oh. Well, I had already put up these panels in expectation of moving the cows from one pasture to the next so they would have access to this side of the shed. But that's been postponed just a little bit, so I got to get down and open those up so I can get in there and get those lay boxes. Now I'm on my way back to pick up the other one. Dog thinks I've lost my mind. Which I might have. It's hard to tell. Yeah. We're gonna have to have a little hay probably tomorrow night. It'll be a whole lot easier than that one was. Hard to see around this thing. Well, that may be where I leave you for tonight. It's time for supper, and then we'll have to get busy feeding, and by then it'll probably be dark, so not much video after that. So still not able to finish up bush hogging that pasture. Maybe tomorrow night, we'll see. Depends on the rain, how much, when, where, anyhow. You know how that goes. So we'll see you later.